This is episode 222 of Teacher Approved.
Hey friends, on Thursdays this summer, we're sharing a weekly can't miss classic, one of our favorite Teacher Approved episodes that is full of timely takeaways.
We handpicked these classic episodes to be ones we know you'll want to hear this summer as you recover and prepare for a new school year.
Today's episode is a short one, but it packs a punch because we're talking about something that every teacher needs in their classroom toolkit, a simple, effective behavior signal.
This clip originally came from a longer episode, but we realized that this strategy, it deserves its own spotlight because, let's be honest, disruptive behavior is going to happen. And when it does, we need a response that we can count on without stopping the whole class to deliver a lecture.
Yep, this episode is all about how to use a nonverbal signal to manage student behavior in a low-key, non-shaming way. Our favorite is a calm little 1, 2, 3 finger cue.
You'll hear how to teach the signal like any other procedure, how to practice it so students don't freeze up or feel singled out, and how to keep it as chill and predictable as possible.
If you've ever wished for a behavior plan you could use in the moment without pausing your lesson or raising your blood pressure, this is it.
So let's keep things simple, consistent, and calm. Here's how to introduce and use your behavior signal like a pro.
You're listening to Teacher Approved, the podcast helping educators elevate what matters and simplify the rest. I'm Heidi.
And I'm Emily. We're the creators behind Second Story Window, where we give research-based and teacher-approved strategies that make teaching less stressful and more effective. You can check out the show notes and resources from each episode at secondstorywindow.net.
We're so glad you're tuning in today. Let's get to the show.
Now that we are all back in the classroom, or will be shortly, it's time to talk about everyone's favorite topic, disruptive students. Yay! Woo!
No. Of course, we are not cheering for that because it's terrible. It's such a hassle. Kids are disruptive at the most inconvenient times. In the middle of a lesson, one kid keeps making sarcastic answers to your questions. Oh, what do you do? It drives me crazy. It's not really practical to shut everything down, get all the other students busy on something, and then deal with the problem. You need something you can rely on in a tough moment. That's when a signal comes in handy.
I taught my students that if they were being disruptive, I'd catch their eye with my best teacher look and hold up my index finger. That was their warning. If they couldn't get it under control after that, I made eye contact again, held up 2 fingers, and then pointed to where they needed to move to have a little break. I love the idea of a dedicated timeout space, but I really just didn't have room for that in my classroom. Instead, I had students move away from the group. So if we were at the rug, they moved back to their desk. If we were at our desks, they moved back to the small group table. I just needed them in a place where their disruptions were minimized.
And if that didn't solve the problem,
well, in that case, I would make eye contact again, hold up 3 fingers, and point to the door. They were supposed to go stand outside the door until I could come chat with them about what needed to change. Usually they could join the group after that. Sometimes they would have to go work in another room, and occasionally they might have to go work in the office.
Besides keeping calm with your patented teacher look, which we talked about in episode 155 if you need a refresher, the key to making a signal effective is that you can use it without explanation. If you hold up a finger as a warning, you don't want to have to stop and say, remember, this is your warning. If you continue making disrespectful comments, I'll have to move you to a part of the room where your behavior is less disruptive, because that little speech would defeat the whole purpose of having a signal.
That's why it's important to teach and practice your behavior signal just like any other procedure. You want students to be able to respond as soon as you bust out the finger. Not that finger, the other one.
And besides helping kids remember the steps involved, we want to take some of the sting out of receiving this consequence. As much as we tell students it's not a bad thing, they'll still feel like it's a bad thing if it's not just an unremarkable part of your classroom routine.
We really want this to feel as low-key as possible. If students are embarrassed, this might escalate their behavior, so we keep it super chill. One way to keep it chill is to give everyone a chance to experience the 1, 2, 3 warning. That way they can see firsthand that they're not in trouble and we're not mad. We're just helping a student get control in a difficult moment.
On the second or third day of school, or whenever you introduce this routine, stick with the 4 tell, try, tally, and talk steps. When we get to the try step, normally you have a volunteer or 2 model for the class. and then have the whole class try. But this procedure doesn't work with everyone trying at once.
With almost any other routine that the whole class can't try at once, something like bringing in the recess bin or being line leader, I'd probably recommend letting the example of a couple kids be good enough for the try part of teaching that procedure. But with this, we really want everyone to experience it so that no one feels singled out when it happens for real. So we've got to adapt.
I definitely start with a few models. Choose your most energetic students and ask them to ham it up. And when the student is throwing her pencil on the floor, give her your calmest teacher look and hold up your index finger. When that doesn't stop, hold up 2 fingers and point to the back table. And when she's at the table, you can ask her to either continue acting up, hold up 3 fingers and point to the door, or ask her to calm down and then wave her back to join the group.
Repeat that with a couple volunteers, and then you might want to move locations. Let kids see how this works when the class is sitting at the rug, but the kid in the back won't stop playing with his neighbor's hair. Or let kids see how this works when you're sitting at your small group table and they're around the room doing centers and the girl goofing off has to go back to her desk to work.
We want to be able to deploy that 1, 2, 3 consequence anytime it's needed. Once you've tried it in different settings, start going down the rows or going table by table to give everyone the chance to get 1, 2, or 3 for behavior.
Normally, we wouldn't recommend going in order through the class because it will decrease your student engagement. Kids are going to check out until it's close to their turn. But in this case, we are thinking of your high anxiety sweethearts. Even the thought that they might need a consequence from their teacher is already giving them heart palpitations. We don't want to also give them ulcers by making them wonder when the trap is going to spring on them.
If you remember our model for engagement, we're keeping kids from tipping into overwhelm by increasing the structure. In this case, the structure is a predictable order for deciding whose turn it is to practice this routine for consequences.
After you've taught this procedure, make sure you use it as soon as it's needed so the steps for what to do are still fresh in everybody's mind.
Your procedure for giving warnings and consequences may be different than the one we've shared, but whatever procedure you use, make sure to teach it so all your students know what to do without feeling the sting of embarrassment.
So that's the quick rundown on using a behavior signal that actually works, without drama, without shame, and without derailing your whole lesson.
It takes a little front loading, but once your students know the signal and have practiced it, it becomes one of those invisible tools that just makes the day smoother.
And if you've ever thought, I need something I can do in the moment without turning it into a whole thing, this is your sign, literally.
If you try it out in your classroom, let us know how it goes. Or better yet, tell us your favorite low-key strategy for redirecting behavior. We love collecting good ideas from other teachers.
Make sure and join us Monday on a regular episode of Teacher Approved, where we'll be back with more ways to help you build a classroom that works for you and your students.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Teacher Approved. I'm Heidi.
And I'm Emily. Thank you for listening. Be sure to follow or subscribe in your podcast app so that you never miss an episode.
You can connect with us and other teachers in the Teacher Approved Facebook group. We'll see you here next week. Bye for now.
Bye.